Cowboy from Stuttgart. Cowboy from Stuttgart.
The marks for Petrenko, incidentally, were relatively good marks, but certainly not enough in the high upper fives, not enough to move him in any important sense. 5.7s and 5.8s. Does this sort of give you an idea of that might be a Germanic view of a hoedown?
All right, Heiko Fischer. San Antone. Heiko, four-time West German national champion, fourth in this competition, pending his marks. There's Brian Orser and Boitano backstage.
Along with Dorothy Hamill.
And Dorothy Hamill.
They both certainly seem to be relaxed, don't they?
They certainly do. We'll be back after this word from our championships. Once again, he's fourth coming to this, and the computations are still being made. No conference, though, Dick, right?
I don't think so. I mean, he is just... He's a very nice guy. He is not a talented athlete in the athletic sense. He's been good in the compulsory figures, and that's kept him up near the top. But he inevitably drops down as a result of a less than powerful free skating performance.
Well, he certainly will with those marks for the required elements. Another set of marks to come. The order still is Boitano, Orser, and Fadeev, with Petrenko of the Soviet Union fourth. Christopher Bowman is sixth at the moment.
Remember, Boitano is in second place at this point overall because the factoring for the compulsory figures is a higher factor than it is for the short program.
Presentation, 5-1-5-4. Boitano is in first place. Brian Orser is second, Fadeev third. Remember, this short program counts for 20% of the mark. The school figures of yesterday count for 30. Saturday night counts for 50. The final performer, Vladimir Kotin of the Soviet Union, in fifth place, coming to the short program.
Now, the interesting thing about this performer is the very macho kind of preening quality he gives to this dance. very, very nice. You know, he's got a wonderful sort of quality on the ice, a very expressive skater.
25-year-old Soviet skater from Leningrad will be back with his marks and a word with Oyster and for his family.
Certainly, Mr. Fadeev have been having a little trouble.
Well, there's Fadeev.
Not a great smile on his face. He was awfully upset this afternoon when he left the rink after the warm-up practice. I think he's just not felt he's on top of it right at this time.
Soviets have never won the men's gold medal. They've had 2 silvers, Sergei Chetverukhin in '72, Vladimir Kovalev in '76. Tonight they have 3 of them in the running for a medal.
Now watch the applause. By the way, the interesting thing at the short program was that both of these men skated totally different programs. One a jazz clean as a whistle.
What a lonely place to be. 20,000 pairs of eyes in the arena, and heaven knows how many millions watching at
This spread eagle worth the equivalent of any triple jump.
listen to this. Oh. Everything he had was in that. And backstage, Brian Orser hears that.
You know, it simply does not matter what happens. Look at him. He's absolutely going through his own movements. Absolutely going through his own movements.
And he still hears it.
You remember, he was the fellow who told his coach to turn on the shower to drown out the applause for one of his competitors a number of years ago. I think he's working very hard now to keep his concentration steady.
Well, now, Dick, it appears from looking at Brian Boitano that he thinks he skated the performance of his life.
I think he did.
I do, too.
There was only one slight glitch, and that was a 2-foot landing that isn't even worth commenting on. He was brilliant. Just wonderful. You know, he must be very, very proud of himself at this point. It was under control, was beautifully done. Just beautifully done.
That's what makes the Olympics special. You must do it on the given day or not at all. There he is with Linda Lever, his coach. On the right. Oh, boy. Well, there's still room on top, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nines.
I think the important thing is who gave him the 5/8.
Right.
Japan, East Germany, West Germany, and Canada. Again, it doesn't matter whether they're 5/8 or 5/9. It's how they rate Orser, who has yet to skate.
Absolutely.
These marks again, 5/8 and 5/7 from Denmark. I frankly thought that was a beautifully choreographed, very creative program. Interesting, just all the way through. It was first rate.
Let's go down to David quickly.
Brian, doing a program as difficult as that must have been like walking through a minefield.
I was trying so hard to just take one thing at a time and really not get excited about each thing that I landed. I could have gotten excited about that first jump because I was nervous, but I knew I had to do everything and keep total control of the program, so that's why I didn't break until the end.
Now you'll get to watch and wait.
Yeah.
Well, the judges left themselves room on top for Orser. Now here is Fadeev, former world champion. Alexander Fadeev of the Soviet Union, led after the school figures. Third now, not known as a powerful free skater.
Nice. He looks as though he's starting off well, doesn't he?
Yep.
Well, that tells you the story for Mr. Fadeev.
Now he is pursued in the standings here by 2 other Soviet skaters. That'll be interesting.
He usually capitalizes on speed and rapid-fire skating.
Of the 9 judges, remember, gave Brian Boitano 5.9. That would mean that any of them, in order to score Orser higher, would get him to give him a perfect mark of 6.0. which should mean that Orser has to be perfect in their opinion. That's on the technical merit marks.
Fadeev is very fond of dressing the role of the peasant and skating the role of the peasant. Orser kind of thinks that lacks in style.
Not the jumper he used to be. He's been bothered by leg injuries and muscle pulls for a couple of years.
You see that kind of a fallout. The second one that he's had is simply not going to augur well for him. That was an open up out of a jump. He clearly intended to do a double jump, but opened up and only did a single one.
Alexander Fadeev of the Soviet Union. There's Brian Orser. The moment is upon him. Marks for technical merit for Alexander Fadeev, all 5.7 straight across the board.
He's with his coach, Sergei Volkov, the first Soviet skater to win a world title.
World men's title. Right. So there's a 5.9 for artistic impression from the Swiss judge and the Czech judge,
who interestingly enough gave a 5.8 to Boitano.
Yeah. Well, now, here's the man, Brian Orser. At the moment, the standings show Boitano first, Fadeev second, Bowman of the U.S. third. But this is the man of the moment in his native country of Canada.
If he skates brilliantly tonight, it will show that he has completely overcome the fears and nervousness he's had in the past.
Kind of unusual to see him shaking his fist there as he went out to begin the performance. Tells you how much it means to him.
The first two moves will be clear. Brilliant triple Lutz. ace.
Now,
He did not reach back far enough with his free toe pick. Could that cause that?
could that be the difference?
But everything else, brilliant. I don't think that will make a difference. Brian Boitano also had one 2-foot landing in a triple jump. This was not a major mistake in the overall perspective of the situation. He just opens up in the air beautifully for the landing out of those jumps. Superlative. In all his previous programs, that has been a triple jump. He did a double one tonight. It was intended to be double. It was not an opened up triple jump. He looks just a little bit tired.
Is this Canada's first Olympic men's figure skating champion? That will be for the judges to decide, and all I know is I'm glad I'm not one of them.
Well, clearly that was a 99 and 99/100% performance. There's his father, obviously very pleased with him, except for that one glitch on that one jump. It really was a first-rate performance. Look at this now, the triple flip jump. Watch him turn the three, step with the toe pick, didn't reach quite far back enough, and double-footed that landing and runched around there. But that was not a fall. It was simply just not a good jump. A difficult problem with it, but not an insurmountable one. And this was his double axel. Look at the height and the stretch and the landing. Now that's what he chose to do instead of a triple, but he had done a triple earlier in the program. So there is simply nothing that can be marked off for that. Nothing at all. That was perfect planning on his part. He was taking it carefully. If I had to estimate the way he felt about this program right now, it would be that he felt he had done a good job, not as quite as good as he can.
Here they come, Dick. Excuse me, look at this. 5/8. Not as strong for technical merit.
Oh, wait a minute.
By and large, we're 5.59s for Brian Boitano.
No, Boitano's marks, I think, are higher.
They are?
Yes, they are higher in
But
that technical merit mark. He
second
has
set to come.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.9s
That's
to
right.
only one of Orser's.
Yeah, you got it.
Now this will
Now,
be the
let's see.
question. This will make the difference.
These are stronger than Boitano's, but how does it all come out?
Well,
Boitano has won.
oh my,
Brian Boitano has won the gold medal.
there you go. Well, well, well.
David Boitano has won. David, he
Brian,
finished second.
Brian, I have good news for you and bad news. Those were tremendous composition and style marks, but you came in second. Your reaction?
I'm disappointed. What can I say?
With the awesome pressure that you were under, what went through your mind on the triple flip?
Just to stay on my feet, stay on. I knew that in order to win, I had to stay on my feet and not have any falls at all.
What about the second triple axel, which was a double axel? Did you plan that beforehand, or that just happened?
I knew at the time I was feeling a little bit tired. I thought it's best to stay up than to go down, then I lose for sure. But hindsight's 20/20, so maybe I should have tried it.
This Canadian audience was absolutely 100% for you.
Yeah, they were great, weren't they? I'm very grateful.
Thank you.
Okay, well, the computer shows that Boitano has won.
Well,
and other skaters yet to come. Now, there is still a medal at stake, you would say. Here's Filipowski of Poland, 6 after the short program, but there are 2 Soviets who are 4th and 5th, one of whom, or it could be Filipowski, could move ahead of Fedea for the bronze.
interestingly, Jim, I think that the reason that Boitano won with the closeness of those marks was that they tied over many of the judges, but Boitano won the technical mark, and the technical mark is one of the tie breakers.
Right. Well, as we say, the competition is not over. Gregor Filipowski of Poland is on the ice, 5th in the 1987 World Championships in Cincinnati last year. He's the young man who was coming to the United States to train, thought he was going to Rochester, New York, got the wrong plane, ended up in Rochester, Minnesota, and darn if he didn't stay there, and he's been there ever since training. So tonight, the United States has won its first gold and first silver medals of these games. They now have one of each medal, gold, silver, and bronze. If you weren't with us, the silver was won by Eric Plain in speed skating.
Do you see the way he's kind of, said, well, I guess that's it, folks. I guess it's impossible for anyone to come out and skate after those two performances, which were so brilliant. And Filipowski, it just doesn't have the elegance or the overall look to it.
Seemed to be what he was saying. Okay, more skating to come.
Lead is Catherine Quitté of France. Quitté only the second skier down on this course, so she has already eclipsed the time of Adair of Austria, who was skier number 1.
Quitté has plastic knees. She's had several knee operations. As a matter of fact, one of the knees is really put together with Gore-Tex. Her mother wanted to quit racing, but she kept going anyway.
And Catherine Quitté of France continuing the French drama here by grabbing the lead. The French won the men's Super G yesterday, Frank Picard. Now this is Regina Mosenlechner, who's 26. That's kind of old for a ski racer.
Well, the biggest problem she has as a ski racer is she's impatient, but she's tremendously talented. She's had a third in Super G this year. She was 7th in the downhill. She loves speed.
Her time is the fastest up top, so she is going fastest, which means, as a result of what you said, that she's loving it.
One thing about the West Germans, they have really trouble. She had a little trouble going off through there, off that bump. They've trained for Super G. Said this is an event we can do well, and they, as soon as it came into the World Cup circuit here about 5 years ago, they started training for it, and they've been doing very well. Bio on Mosenlechner is an interesting one, too. She likes to drink champagne, drive fast cars, and to knit. That's an interesting combination, isn't it?
Hopefully she's not knitting while drinking champagne and driving a fast car. Here's her intermediate time. See if she kept the speed up. She has.
Unbelievable up there. The skis are really running fast, and she's being very good on her tuck. Hold her tuck, too. Boyfriend is Peter Vernsberger, one of the great downhillers on the Austrian team, but didn't get to come to Calgary this year.
Mosenlechner's time could give her the lead. Yes, and by an amazing margin, 1.15 seconds. And she is all fired up. We have absolutely beautiful conditions here. The best we've seen at Nikiska. The man who'll confirm that for us is Jack Edwards.
There have been days in the last week when you couldn't even see that course because the wind was blowing snow against it horizontally, and you just couldn't get around up here without being extremely uncomfortable. Well, right now the air temperature is about 15 degrees. That's below 0 centigrade, and this is a centigrade reader. But watch what happens when I put the probe on my pant leg. Despite the low temperature of the air, which keeps the snow conditions stable, if you're out in the sun, that'll rise until it's about 67 Fahrenheit. Yeah, when they said, let's go skiing, this is exactly the kind of day they had in mind.
There are approximately 1,000 different mountain volunteers here. They all need equipment to work. Where do they go to get it? Right here, where there are more than 1,500 pairs of new skis. I must admit, I was a little like a kid in a candy store.
She really has her own coach. Max Ramey used to be the U.S. women's downhill coach, and he's with her all the time. He's actually her ski technician. He's kind of there all the time with her. She has the best time by 26 hundredths of a second. The skis are running well. She's doing well down here. Be careful not to edge too much. Sometimes it gets a little hard. Oh, she really looks good on here.
In the current season, Michaela Fagini is leading all the standings in this event, the Super G, and she has the lead now by 0.3 of a second. And now it's time for the second half of the ongoing Fagini-Walliser battle, which began in '84 when Walliser lost to Fagini in the Olympic downhill by 0.05 of a second. Now, while they've had disappointments here already in Calgary, Walliser looks very ready.
They call this imaging. She's taking herself down the course in her mind.
This was earlier, and it'll go now from being in her mind to being real. She has 18 World Cup victories and undoubtedly one of the best this sport has to offer.
Maria Ballister now fourth in the downhill. As bronze medalist, we have already said in the combined results yesterday. She got Fergini, her rival, in first place. Boy, just got her time before she left.
1600ths behind at the bottom.
Okay, she's not that great usually in the turns anyway. It'll be the bottom that should be doing well. Let's see how she does do here. See that right ski, chat a little bit. Oh, that left ski really banked you there. That'll cost her some. Down here on the flats where she should be very strong. Hollister often isn't all that pretty going down the hill as far as her skiing is concerned, but she is fast. She does keep them headed downhill.
Time check on Ballister. She's in third place right now, 4/10 behind. Her teammate Fergini is at the bottom in first place.
She was just too high on her skis up above there. We'll have to let them roll down here. Came out of her tuck.
3 more gates to go on this Super G course. This will be close. No. Ballister only able to move into third. But the Swiss, powerful at any rate. They have first and the third position of Ballister. But the battle between the Swiss and the Austrians will continue with their 2 most powerful skiers still to come, and Edith Thies of the United States. She is part of the elite group of 15. But right now, it is Michaela Fergini leading the Super G. Safety pin attached to her bib, which the protesting team said made her more aerodynamic. So she only wound up winning 1 of the 3.
She won 2 downhills in Vail, Colorado in 1987, and that gave us some confidence. She was really hot for the Austrians back in 1982, but then faded completely out of the picture.
She had some injury problems at that point in her back, and that's why she wasn't able to qualify for the team that represented Austria in Sarajevo. But here she is at the Calgary Games at the age of 23.
Coaches feel that she's just now starting to gain some confidence again. She really does ski well.
And she's got the fastest time, Bob. Did she pick up some speed?
She picked up all kinds of speed down here at the bottom. Her skis are running fast. Being a good downhill will help her also. She knows how to glide through here. Go. Oh, she's so smooth in the skates. She's right there, though.
Can she possibly hold it? She's done it by 1 full second. The Austrians have knocked the Swiss out of the box again. And there's Michaela Fergini. Another Olympic disappointment. And as I say that, you must know that the Swiss are happy with silver medals, but never satisfied. Wolf of Austria with the lead. Mosenlechter of West Germany still in third. Karen Percy of Canada still to come.
Now backstage, that's Scott Gregory, who has been suffering with a very bad back. He's been very courageous through the U.S. Championships, the compulsories yesterday. His partner, Susie Semenik, she's the one who fell yesterday. Scott is not wearing a brace tonight for the first time. Now this was in the waltz, which should be very simple, and suddenly they went down. It was a really very embarrassing, very dramatic thing that happened. Now watch the skates. This is what happened. The skates touched, caught, the toe picks caught, and down they went. There were 60 performances in all yesterday during the compulsories. There was only 1 fall, and that was it. And Susie Semenik could do that about 1,000 times, and it would never happen again. However, they're a very interesting young couple, Susie Semenik and Scott Gregory. Why don't we meet them right now up close and personal? Susie and Scott. Tonight. That's what's in their minds, you can be sure, after this word from our local station.
Gregory,
United States champion.
And these steps, Jim, are part of the total picture that they are conveying of this dance. The dance hasn't started yet, and there will be introductory moves. All of this is part of it.
skating to the tangos, but tangos that they themselves have selected. Very nice.
And that's the dance.
Huh? Isn't that nice?
You know, Jim, I didn't want to interrupt the flow of the dance to explain that they have to stay in those dance positions throughout the entire dance. They can even use a variety of dance positions, opening and closing and foxtrot and tango and whatever, but it has to look like a ballroom dance, and that's what this does. There are no small separations, no jumps, no little lifts that we'll see in the freestyle, and there's but just a marvelous feeling throughout the whole thing. And one other thing about them, they have really come together beautifully in the last year. Their styles used to be disparate. She was intense and very powerful, and he a happy-go-lucky guy. And you don't see that today. Now they act as one. Very nice.
And no fall tonight.
No.
Far from it.
Wasn't it good? Look at the intensity on her face. You know, at one time, I asked them what they thought of each other. He said of her, she's intense and goal-oriented and sincere and cute. And she said of him, he's patient, happy-go-lucky, and very handsome. I guess that tells you their story.
It does. The first set of marks, 5-3 to 5-6.
Presentation et notre présentation. 5.5, 5.6, 5.5.
Second set,
5.3, 5.5.
5-3 to 5-6. Tomorrow night we'll see them live once again in their free skating program. And now down to David.
Susie, after yesterday's freak fall, did you have to fight the urge to skate cautiously tonight?
I had to fight the urge to distribute my energy very evenly instead of all at once and then blowing it. Because it was really easy for me to go crazy. So Scott was really good in just monitoring my thing, so it was a little harder than usual.
Well, after tonight's performance, you still have a good chance for the top 5.
Thank you very much.
In fact, they are the leaders of those who have skated so far, but the leaders, the top 3 are yet to come. This is Leah Trovati and Roberto Pelizzola of Italy, 10th after the compulsories yesterday.
Now, I think, Jim, that you'll see that this dance is a little more of the obvious or sort of ordinary kind of tango dance that we've seen in past years. It's less creative than some of the more adventurous dances, or certainly some of the more point-of-view dances that we'll see as the better dancers come onto the ring. Now, one of the things that you'll note is these dancers are moving rather slowly around the ice. All of them are, in order to get in a maximum number of intriguing dance steps and moves in the tango tense.
Leo Trovati and Roberto Pelizzola of Italy, both from Milan. We'll take a break and competitions. This pair or couple has been dazzling the world with a very different style.
Jim, the important thing about, let me get to that later, this dance is the most intriguing, humorous, deadpan of all the tangos. It's wonderful. A tango is born of controversy, and this couple just is surrounded by controversy throughout their whole dance life.
Because they're very different. They're 8th after the compulsory.
Look at this step.
Wow. Well, they represent France, but they're from Quebec, Canada. Everybody there knows it. Where do you see them free skate tomorrow night?
And that's a standing ovation. Look at that.
Yep.
Everything about this pair just great. They seem to attract controversy like a bee to honey.
But how are the judges going to receive them? All right, let's take a break. We'll find out what their marks are when we return. In the second place among those who have skated, Semenik and Gregory of the United States are still the leaders, but the earlier leaders are yet to come. This is Clara Engi and Attila Toth of Hungary, 7th after the compulsory.
Far more predictable, a plain tango. It certainly does not have the character or the completion that the Duchesnays had.
They were 1 place ahead of the Duchesnays after the compulsories. It'll be interesting to see if they drop back.
Remember, there are all kinds of tangos. There's the sort of silly, smoldering parody that we see on Carol Burnett's show, and then there's the very sexy parody, one that we see with male domination and female submissiveness. The best kind of tango is one which is a combination of a male and female working together, almost a tango. of the rules is that neither skater can leave the ice at any time. There's a particularly fascinating move where she hangs on by a hair.
Clara Engi and Attila Toth of Hungary.
You know, Jim, tangos really are about a relationship between a man and a woman. Sometimes they can be sharp, and sometimes they can be smooth and sensitive and sensual. It's really the variety is what makes it so wonderful.
Okay, another Toth of Hungary, 5-3 to 5-5, and then 5-3 to 5-4, and they stay ahead of the Duchenes in the overall standing. Here we have Antonia and Ferdinand Beckerer. They are twins from West Germany, 9th after the compulsories.
Now, one thing you'll notice about this dance, Jim, is that they kind of don't complete the rule that both skaters must be equal in dance ability. He does a lot of two-foot skating in this dance, while she does the more difficult work.
Still to come, all of the lead couples, including Bestemianova and Bukin of the Soviet Union, the favorites. And they are something to watch.
See him on a number of two-foot edges there.
Antonia there is 10 minutes older than her twin brother, Ferdinand.
Actually, she's also quite tall. She's 5'7", he's 6'1". That makes for a very attractive and elegant dance couple.
Well, they were 7th in last year's World Championship. Backstage, B&B, as they are known, Bestemianova and Bukin. They are the favorites. They are the leaders. They are absolutely marvelous to watch. Their turn will come tonight and, of course, tomorrow night in the free dance final. Just about a capacity crowd in the big Saddle Dome. Holds almost 20,000 people. That's where you've been watching hockey. Tonight it's skating. Standing by for their marks, the Beckerers. Leaders at the moment, still Semenik and Gregory of the United States.
Marks for Antonia Beckerer, Ferdinand Beckerer, for composition. They know for composition.
Marks coming up.
5.3, 5.0, 5.3, 5.3.
There they are. 5-0 from Canada. A couple of 5-4s from Austria and Great Britain. That's the first set for composition.
5.2, 5.4, 5.3, 5.2.
These marks were certainly not as high as some of the previous ones we've seen. I think we'll see some moving around here.
Well, they were 9th coming in.
5.4, 5.3.
And here we go from 5.2 to 5.4. And that puts them in 5th place. We'll be right back. And with good reason, because they've had a wonderful time, not only in Calgary, but in its environs, in a little place called Okotoks. It was a love affair. There was a love affair near Calgary just before the games began. A love affair between a small town called Okotoks and some athletes far from home. The athletes were the figure skaters from the Soviet Union. They had selected Okotoks as a quiet place to train. But they didn't anticipate the way the townspeople would turn out to watch them train or how friendly everyone would be. But there was instant rapport between the skaters and the spectators. Natalia Bestemianova and Andrei Bukin are the favorites in ice dancing in these Olympics. And they were favorites in Okotoks. The feeling was mutual.
People here so hospitality, so nice for us.
Friendly for us, very friendly.
Yes.
When we walk on the street, a lot of people on the car, in the car say hello, hello, and it's right for us. It's very good feels for us.
Everywhere B&B, as they are called, went in Okotoks, they found friendliness. They've won in the big cities, Tokyo, Geneva, Cincinnati, but their home video camera recorded very special memories in Okotoks. Natalia isn't the most skilled camera person in town. We think we have most of those. But her work will suffice as a poignant memory of a special time. Andrei will show them to his wife and son back home in Moscow. The quiet time in Okotoks. The time when there was time to shop for souvenirs. Time to contemplate the fact that really we're all the same behind the national symbols.
7. I think it's never mind what kind of nationals, Canadian or Russian. Every people live in worlds.
It's just a small town story of a quiet love affair. A little bit of glasnost in Okotoks, it would seem. We'll be right back for the competition. The first couple in this group will be Katrin and Christoph Beck, another brother and sister team. They're from Vienna. Skated their waltz yesterday. We're right at home. Here's the starting order for the final group here, the Beck and Beck, the brother and sister from Austria. Then the second place team of Klimova and Ponomarenko from the Soviet Union, and the fourth place Soviets. Then Bestemianova and Bukin, the leaders in the competition, followed finally by Wilson and McCall from Canada, who are in third place coming to the night. So many possibilities here. Here are the Becks.
And they skate a very extroverted dance. They don't really play to each other, but more to the audience. She kind of flirts with the audience.
They're fifth after the compulsories, one place ahead of Semenik and Gregory, who are, at the moment are still the leaders tonight.
She also is clearly the more adventurous skater. He kind of sort of follows along.
They're both students at the University of Vienna. He's a law student, in fact.
This tango has a particularly strong melodic line, very marchy in feeling. It's certainly a dance with less of the uninhibited emotions that we've seen in some of the other dances.
The Becks.
That was really, you know, a very nice dance. It was a traditional tango. It did not break any of the rules and regulations of the sport or even come close to stretching them, but it was nice.
We'll be back then after this word from our local station. Set of mark for the Becks, 5-4 to 5-7. The American judge giving them the 5-7. American judge has been marking high. Each judge can mark in whatever scale at once. So the Becks have now moved ahead of Semenuk and Gregory of the United States into the lead of those who have skated so far, bringing us to the second place team, Marina Klimova and Sergei Ponomarenko of the Soviet Union, bronze medalists 4 years ago in Sarajevo. Since then, always skating slightly in the shadow of their teammates, Vestomianova and Bukin.
She is beautiful. If Anna Karenina were to do a tango with Vronsky, this might be it. This is superlative dancing.
Klimova and Ponomarenko of the Soviet Union.
Oh, and Jim, in my book, that was exquisite. They're like an aristocratic Russian couple who simply have never been to Spain but know the rhythm of the tango. Those movements, elegant, smooth, a pathos involved in it.
And now
Simply
backstage.
superb.
Backstage, B&B, Vestomianova and Bukin. Let's take a break and not miss a thing. We'll be back. For a 5-9 from France. Outstanding marks.
And knowing that there are still 2-3 more dancers to come, those are marks that allow plenty of room for others to come higher. But I think that, in my opinion, certainly they were brilliant. There's a lot of controversy about which is better, the sort of more frantic, complicated style of Vestomianova and Bukin, or the more elegant, romantic, and flowing style of this couple. I think you make your choice, you take your pick.
Except for 1-5-7 there, they were all 5-8s and 5-9s on the second set of marks. So, as you would imagine, they take the lead among those who have skated so far, followed by the Becks and Semenuk and Gregory. Now, Annenko and Sretensky, another Soviet pair, in fourth place after the compulsories. Both from Moscow. They were fourth in last year's World Championship.
And once again, you see a very kind of reserved and almost cool kind of approach. The look of this dance is wonderful. They give each other. Very cool.
They've been suffering a bit of fourth place-itis. They've been fourth in the last two World Championships. Fourth here so far, still trying to crack that medal position.
Very nice. Really, they are marvelous dancers also. They, along with Klimova and Ponomarenko and the Bestemianov and Bukin, represent an extremely powerful Soviet ice dancing team.
What you're seeing tonight, the OSP, tomorrow the free dance, and we'll be back. First set of marks, all 5.7s, except for 1.56 from the American judge.
5.8, 5.7, 5.7, 5.8.
And these happy?
These marks clearly indicate, I think, that they are not as high as Klimova and Ponomarenko in the judges' opinion, and that they will come behind them.
Well, they are. We have that on the computer. They are second behind Klimova and Ponomarenko right now, but now the leaders. Believe me, these are the best.
And I think here we're going to see a dance which is almost an angry tango. It's almost as though she should have a knife between her teeth as she goes through this routine. But the pattern extremely satisfying. There is her coach, Tatiana Tarasova. Look at the tempestuous character that she plays.
Silver medalist 4 years ago, going for the gold.
Remember, these are the introduction to the dance. It starts here.
Fernando's Hideaway.
She is a very good Twizzler, as they call it in ice dancing. Fast, fast turns. Very quick. Right there. Talk about strength. That dance is almost a catharsis rather than a dance. I think what makes them so powerful and so first rate is the strength of their skating. The edge is powerful, really strong. They can move with enormous speed what they want to. The positions are fast, dynamic. They project enormously. And of course, all their dance positions culled out of the world of ice, compulsory ice dances, just put it all together for them. These moves, not the actual part of the dance. You can see the way she projects. Almost, it's more of a stereotyped kind of tango
Right,
than
here come the
some
marks.
of the more different ones that we've seen.
Sorry, Dick. Here are the first set of marks. All 5.9 straight across the board.
5.9, 5.9.
Coach Tarasova with them there. A lot of those shouts and applause, you can be sure of, from their friends in the village of Okotoks.
5.9, 5.9, 5.9, 5.9.
Another set to come.
Marks for presentation.
Here again.
Another roar.
See it.
Look
You
at
can
this.
see a 6-0 at the end there. From France.
There it is.
5.9.
First six we've seen in these Olympics.
5.9. 6.0.
Well, their English is getting better all the time. Let's go down to David, see if we can have a word with him.
Natalia, is there anything you'd like to tell your friends at Okotoks now?
Yes, it was good practice in Okotoks, and we have good feeling from this small town, and we take this with us twice.
Well, it's great marks.
Well, that's why the roar. These are the Canadians who are in third place, possibly headed for a bronze medal in this competition.
And this dance will be totally different than any of the others.
We've seen the first 6.0 in anything involving two people on the ice. Brian Orser did have one.
this dance wonderful.
Tracy Wilson and Rob McCall. And we'll be back. There's the first set of marks, 2 5.7s, everything else 5.8s. They've had their standing ovation from the crowd in the Saddle Dome. Now the marks from the judges.
And rightfully so, Jim. They were wonderful. They were original, quite different from the others. Not at all the sexy, sensual kind of dance, but just something that they get turned on by their own performance for. Look at these marks.
Okay, let's do that. Let's have a look at them. 5.8, 5.9, 5.8, 5.7, 5.8, 5.8, 5.8. 5.8 and 5.9 from France.
And it moves them into third place.
Yes, it does.
Oh, that's nice.
Now let's take a look at the standings after the second of 3 nights of competition. If you like this tonight, make plans to be with us for the free dance tomorrow night. That'll be live also. You saw that the sooooo teams were first and second, the Canadians third. Severnick and Gregory of the United States still in 6th place, but 50% of the mark is on the line tomorrow night. Conceivably, they could move up a bit.
Don't forget the extraordinary situation of the Deschênes in 8th place.
Giving you the results, hopefully, of the OSP and the combined results of the compulsory dances. I think we're almost ready to go.
Rob McCall, 28 years old. His skating partner, Tracy Wilson, 26. She was born in Quebec. He's from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. They were 8th just 4 years ago. They were in 8th place. Now they're in 3rd with the free dance still to come. So, as I said, make your plans for tomorrow night. But perhaps you like your sport a little faster, a little more outdoors, a little more violent. Well, remember, we have to go back for the conclusion of the women's super giant slalom race that took place this afternoon. For that, again, Al Troutwig and Bobby Addy. Olympics. Here are Tracy Wilson and Rob McCall on the ice at the Saddle Dome. We have seen the longest ski jump in Olympics history in our program tonight. We've seen live a world record in speed skating, women's speed skating by Andrea Ehrig, and now this marvelously entertaining and still exciting ice dancing. Now, Wilson and McCall are the Canadians, as you see, silver medalists in last year's World Championships. They're going for the bronze tonight. The home crowd will be with them 100%. And they're good, right, Dick?
They're marvelous, but you know, they're not really a romantic couple on the ice like most of the others. They perform for the enjoyment of it between themselves and for the audience. I think they get a great feel back from this very popular audience right here.
Well, right now, why don't we meet them a little more closely, in fact, up close and personal. Different strokes for different folks. They are the leaders. Wilson and McCall, they're in 3rd place. After them, Beck and Beck, the brother and sister from Austria, and then Anenko and Stratensky, the other Soviets who will be trying to move up into some sort of medal as the last skaters on the program. Now, wow, a little color there from Marina Klimova and Sergei Ponomarenko of the Soviet Union. They're in 2nd place. They are husband and wife.
And, Jim, they are an extraordinarily lyrical pair. This free dance, really a love poem. It's charming and quite touching.
Wonderful entertainment. Remember, this is the Olympics, and they're skating for medals in Calgary. Couple from Moscow skating to the music of the Beatles.
Their style of ice dancing tends certainly to be in the purest tradition. A very pure style.
What a night of skating. This is terrific.
I just think they're superb.
Yeah.
She is so beautiful. That lovely swan neck extends the line of her body. There's nothing frenetic or fast or overdone about this pair.
Klimova and Ponomarenko watching Katarina Witt. Her competition begins. Skorieva. You saw a flaw there a while ago, Dick?
So minor
Okay.
that it's not worth commenting on. The chosen maiden. You know, their story of ice dancing is really the same every year. It's the battle of the sexes. He tames her, but it isn't easy.
And nothing's easy out there. This sport, it seems to me, Dick, has taken quantum leap forward for the last 15 years. Really, since we came into the Olympics, I guess, in 1976.
You know, their dance is really frantic, pushing, more in the tradition. Look at the expression and the emotion here that they get. They're extremely theatrical. They're extremely theatrical.
And the applause continues.
And very powerful, very powerful. But interestingly enough, it is not a standing ovation.
Look from overhead again.
It's exquisite, isn't it?
Yep. They didn't stir the crowd quite as much as a couple of others, did they?
I think this kind of a dance is very clearly in the tradition of the new type of dancing, of theme dancing, an overall single purpose, single kind of point of view.
They did, however, stir the judges. Straight 5 9s across the board.
Well, this is clearly unison in thinking. Remember, any judge that is out of line has to answer to the referee.
Last year's World Championships, for the next mark, artistic impression, they had 6.0s. We'll see what's going to happen here.
And there they are with their coach, Tatiana Tarasova. And
Gordieva, who looked like a queen last week, is a teenager eating popcorn tonight.
And I can assure you, this couple is very happy that this is over. No doubt about it.
3 perfect marks of 6.0 from the Soviet Union.
Look at the 5-5. Look at that 5-5.
From West Germany.
From West Germany. Wow. Talk about being out of line. That's it.
6.0. However, they immediately moved into the lead ahead of their teammates Klimova and Ponomarenko.
Oh, I tell you, that does break the mold a little bit in judging, doesn't it?
Yep.
The ice dancing judging is really the most restrictive and uniform of all. Movement in ice dancing is almost impossible without those difficult moves to mark down on when they're missed.
All right. Now the home crowd can really enjoy themselves with Tracy Wilson and Rob McCall. They're going for the bronze medal here. In 3rd place, coming to the final performance for them.
Now, the free dance that they're going to do, the source of inspiration is a ballet set to Scott Joplin music, Elite Syncopations.
We've heard about every kind of music tonight. Now it's ragtime, real ragtime.
One thing this couple has is a sense of humor.
And I just love ragtime. No Canadian couple has ever won a medal in the Olympics in ice dancing. Until tonight, perhaps. So many different styles of skating. Music, just great tonight. All right, off to Buffalo. Or Calgary. Isn't it great to see somebody have a moment like that anytime in their lives?
They will not forget it. They will not forget it. What a wonderful dance that was. I've got to tell you, trippy, flat-footed, toey, a little goofy, sort of like those English Pearly King types. What a special moment.
But did you like it, Dick? We'll be right back.
5/8 and a 5/6 and 2 5/7s. Remember, Jim, people don't move around in this event like they do in the singles. It moves sort of like a glacier. Very slow.
Let's go to David.
5.7.
Rob, every athlete dreams of having the ultimate performance at the Olympics. How would you assess tonight's performance?
I think it was, considering the pressure and it just being the Olympics, for us it was an ultimate performance. We house skated better in practice. But again, you have to, like I say, weigh all the factors, and weighing all the factors cover their ultimate performance.
I think you have an excellent chance at third place.
Thank you.
Okay, now they have, in fact, moved into third place behind B&B and Klimova and Ponomarenko. But remember, there's this couple and then the Russians who are in fourth place. So stand by. This is Beck and Beck, another brother and sister from Vienna. Fifth overall coming to this performance. Just ahead of the Americans, Semenik and Gregory, coming to tonight.
And talk about a Broadway program.
It's showtime. Entertain you.
You think this is Baby June?
Send in the clowns.
You can certainly see the moves, the edges, and the steps that exist in the compulsory dances in this program.
No brother and sister arguments tonight. The Becks of Austria have Dick, I don't think we have seen one major mistake tonight.
Well, whatever we've seen, it's been very entertaining.
The overhead look. And the big finish. Okay, there are the winners, but bronze medals still up for grabs. Arena, the athletic Debbie. Katarina now was back on top. And Debbie knew that something had to give, something had to change. She dropped the heavy schedule of studies for a year and moved to Colorado to concentrate on training. After a session with Mikhail Baryshnikov, she engaged George de la Peña of the American Ballet Theater to round out her talent, to add beauty, elegance, and balletic grace to her acknowledged athletic ability. Her coach said, "Watch. You'll see a new Debbie." And so we did at the 1988 U.S. Championships last month. Her new music was from the opera Carmen. Debbie skated it with audacity and charm and regained her national title. By pure coincidence, Katarina also had selected Carmen for her Olympic program. Which Carmen will win? Well, the battle began this morning at 8 a.m. Katarina was the first skater to compete in the first of 3 school figures. In their last 2 World Championship meetings, Debbie has finished ahead of Katarina in this quiet part of the competition. All morning and most of the afternoon, the tension continued. 3 figures, all precise and difficult. Consider the first figure with Dick Button.
The first figure was the counter, the left forward inside counter. This figure has 3 large circles with 2 turns connecting the 3 circles. It's here that the skater pushes off backward, makes a turn, and then finally completes the 3rd circle. It is important that the circles be equal in size, round, skated with firm edges, and lined up on axis. This was Kira Ivanova of the Soviet Union as she skated her figure. Right here, she stepped onto a forward inside edge and approached the turn. Now watch very carefully. Right here, you will see her tracings. they weren't as close as they could have been. Despite some flaws in her tracings, the judges felt her counter turns and the shape and size of her circles were superior to the others. Ivanova took the lead after the first figure and never relinquished it throughout the compulsory figure competition. Jill Trenery of the United States did not get off to a good start on her first figure. It was reminiscent of her disastrous first figure last year at the 1987 World Championships, where she came in 12th. In this first figure, she placed 9th, but dramatically improved her position in the later figures. Still to come, Katarina Witt and Debbie Thomas.
And we'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station.
In a battle drill, you need horsepower, firepower, people power, teamwork.
Hey, where did you learn about computers?
In the Army.
You were in the Army, too?
Qualify for the GI Bill and the Army College Fund, and you can earn over $25,000 for college.
What you do in the Army?
Airborne.
Compulsory figure. The second figure was the paragraph bracket, the right back outside bracket change bracket. After 2 figures, she dropped to 4th place overall. Now, after the first figure, Debbie Thomas was in 4th place, but on this figure, she was superb. She skated a strong, rock-solid figure with good body position. Now, as she pushes off here, watch how she looked ahead of herself to see where the turn was so that she could trace it.
Well, the judges looked for the lineup of the turns. Were they on axis? And were the circles lined up? Were they even? Did she have even flow throughout this figure?
A figure like this requires steel-like nerves and perfect balance. They're very difficult. While the judges moved in to mark the figure, Debbie skated over to confer with her coach, Alex McGowan. She won the figure, and it moved her into 3rd place overall. Now, Katarina Witt of East Germany was 2nd after the first figure.
Katarina's school figures have never been a strong point in the past, but this year she seems to have improved. I noticed from a distance her circles looked a little small for her size. And look how slow she's going throughout this figure. The flow of this figure was really lacking.
Katarina Witt remained in 2nd place after the second figure. Now, recently, there have been a lot of questions about the future of compulsory figures in Olympic and international competition.
Compulsory figures have long been a mystery. Why spend 3 or 4 hours a day trying to perfect these designs on the ice? Well, it's a question that the International Skating Union, the governing body, is finally asking. And so they've come up with a proposal to eliminate compulsory figures from world and Olympic competition. Why? Well, they take up a great deal of training time, especially in the morning, which conflicts with school. They're very costly for the ISU to run at competitions. They're not exactly what you'd call a spectator sport, and there's limited practice ice in Europe, which puts the European skaters at a disadvantage. Now, in June, a vote will be taken by the member countries of the ISU. Like the United Nations General Assembly, each country only gets 1 vote. The proposal has touched off a real controversy in the skating world. People from the skating powerhouses, such as the United States, Canada, and the Soviet Union, want to keep them. It gives them the edge. On the other hand, countries with skaters who are held back by weak figures are for dropping them. But the issue goes far deeper. People are finally asking, what's the role that figures play in skating?
The whole reason figure skating is called figure skating is because of figures. Well, may I say that only the English-speaking people called our sport figure skating? That is not the right word for our sport? That all the rest of the world call it artistic skating?
Honestly, I think
figure skating would really be at a loss. Most of all, I just think it's heritage. You can't just cut off something. It's part of the sport.
Not only are they a tradition dating back to the wonderful designs of Gillis Craftsman's era, but sides are now drawn and emotions run high over the debate as to whether or not figures are only an art form in themselves or the very foundation for skating, like the scales of the piano, providing the basic skills for free skating, body awareness, and the edge control so crucial to skating.
My major thing now with my students is that these kids realize that without compulsory figures, there would be no jumps. There would be no footwork. There would be no program.
They are really basically like the scales for a pianist. But as for a pianist that plays these scales to learn to play the piano, when he gives a concert, he just plays the symphony and not the scales.
And the argument has been made that ice dancers and pair skaters who do not do compulsory figures are still very good skaters. But even so, the biggest concern to most skaters and coaches is how it will affect the quality of free skating and what direction skating will go without them.
I think definitely if you drop figures, you're going to find a different kind of sport. I think it's going to go professional.
Who knows what the economic ramifications are going to be? I mean, coaches aren't going to be teaching as many lessons. Rinks aren't going to be selling as many hours of ice time. It could really hurt the sport. It could kill the sport. The ISU being, what they are, they don't care. It's just, it costs them money to have figures at a championship. They don't care what it does to the rest of the sport, as long as they can have another cocktail party.
The ISU, of course, doesn't quite see it that way. They believe they're freeing skating from an anchor they've carried for too long. The United States and Canada have submitted proposals for compromises that might make it possible to retain school figures in some form. Somewhere, the ghost of Gillis Grafström, the greatest of all school figures.
Matter of time until they have the right kind of combination of support and teaching. That's happening. A lot of times we haven't come up with great dancers or pair skaters that have won a world title.
Right.
It's just a matter of timing.
And I think in the past they've put the emphasis on the pairs and the dance.
I think the short program is particularly suited to her talents. She looks wonderful to start. Sometimes the rigors of the long, she crumbles a little bit underneath the pressures of it.
Okay, we'll be right back. Brashova, 5-1 to 5-6. 5-6 from the Swiss judge. And presentation, 5-7 from the Swiss.
5.6.
And 5-3 to 5-7. Canadian judge with 5-3, but she tends to mark on the low side. It's just how she marks them in comparison to the other skaters that counts.
5.5.
Agnes Gosselin of France, 13th after the school figures.
Next competitor, notre prochaine concurrente, representing France.
Five-time national champion of her country.
Gosselin.
Not what Agnes Gosselin would have hoped for in her short program of the 7 required elements.
Unfortunately, Jim, not what we could have hoped for.
Yes.
It was, unfortunately, very heavy, slow, and pedestrian choreography. These step situations. I mean, well, the whole program was just a sort of unfortunate skating. I don't know what to say. Not her night.
Several skaters.
Into the jump here, good clean takeoff, so important to this event. And you see it right there, starts his twist out well. Visual reference to the ground at all times, and you can see how important that is right here as he lands that jump perfectly.
We are seeing the difference between butter and oleo.
Well, I don't know, either one would be great, because this is one heck of a jump right here. Perfect landing.
So that's for the second jump, Ada. Now on his first jump, he had a 170.28.
Didia doing a Rudy full here. 1.5 full, and he lands it beautifully. This is one tough competition. Look at how happy he is, Tim. And Didia coming into the jump, 1.5 on the first flip, 1.5 twist on the second flip, and a full twist on the third flip. Eyes on the ground at all times, picks the landing up. What a great jump.
So for Maida, the second best score of the day, and he moves into second place. So Sonny Schoenbachler, who competed as a gymnast until he was 12 years old. Gymnastics, very important in this sport.
That sure is. And here he's skiing into the jump, doing a lay full, really stretched out. And that's why it was so stretched out. He was a little bit too fast or a little bit too early on takeoff there.
Well, maybe a novice question. He's not wearing a helmet. He hit his head. Why not a helmet?
Some of the athletes think the helmet actually hinders their performance because it messes up their equilibrium.
Do you buy that?
It's absolutely their choice of to wear that helmet or not.
How about the young athletes coming into the sport?
For all the athletes coming into the sport, they are required to wear helmets.
Skating, Katharina Witt from Karl Marxstadt. And here, Debbie Thomas, expected to be her closest competitor. You can feel it in the arena right now. And another American very much in competition is Jill Trenery. This young woman suffered an injury in 1985, a deep cut on her leg that went right to the bone. It was thought that she would never skate again. Within 5 months, I believe, she is back competing within the next United States National Championships. But let's meet her up close and personal. Jill Trenery has never been a teenager like most other teenagers. In her early teens, she moved to Colorado Springs.
That costume has been the subject of a lot of controversy here. It's pretty spectacular, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
A lot of blitz there.
Well, Debbie goes to something of a darker color.
But you know,
this is called a unitard, when it's one piece. She's worn this for the past 2 years. It's been very successful. I think makes it look very long line. And there's her mom,
who used to drive 150 miles a day while working. She would take Debbie to school, take her to practice, come back again. There's Alex McGowan, her Scottish coach, a very humorous guy, very pleasant man to be around. Does a great imitation of Jackie Stewart, the race driver, our friend.
The interesting thing about that costume is that it's both traditional and yet it's also today and unusual. And I think that's the combination of Debbie Thomas. She works this sport within the rules of the sport, but she retains her own individuality.
If you can tell anything, she looks a bit more relaxed than she did this morning at practice. Here's Karen Kadavi now, 7th after the compulsory figures. How far up could she hope to move? Well, she's got 2 performances to go.
Well, if you remember, it was Elaine Zayak, who rose up from, I think, about 7th place to win her world title.
Absolutely, it was 7th. Yeah.
It was a fluke because everybody else made major gross errors, and that was permitted her to rise so far when she skated so well.
Karen thought to have a little more of a delicate personality than Debbie and Jill Trenery. Now, Kira Ivanova, this is the leader, remember, from the Soviet Union after the compulsory skating. Peggy, how would you assess her?
Well, I think she's improved since the last few years. She has really pulled her body together and looks very strong. Her jumps have been very consistent in practice, so I anticipate her skating pretty well.
Okay. Carlo Fassi, the coach there, talking to Jill Trenery. He coaches both Trenery and Kadevi. Now, that's kind of a tough job to send two of them out after medals in the Olympics and give equal attention to both, right?
Jim, that's actually Joanne Conway he's speaking to her.
Was he? Oh, from back there?
Yes, he teaches her, too. Remember, she represents Great Britain.
From Great Britain.
But she trains up in Colorado.
And it's an interesting thing about the training in Colorado. If you'll look at her very closely, you'll see a jazzy type of hip accent, a signature of all the girls from Colorado. They must have a very good jazz teacher there.
8th after the compulsory.
There it is. That's the movement.
Beautiful line in this camel, change camel.
Two-jump combination. One jump at triple toe.
Oh, too bad.
Now, she is skating to, it don't mean a thing if you ain't got swing. It should be if you ain't got the triple. That's the name of this part of this competition.
Oh, dear. Two of them. Can't imagine what she's put into it. The daughter of a welder in Northeast England, whose mother works the midnight shift in the psychiatric ward to help out with her training.
This is actually a very well executed choreography in this number. However, she technically hasn't been able to keep up with it.
There's that tension of the short program, isn't it?
Oh, it's terrible tension.
Yeah. Pack all those moves into 2 minutes and 15 seconds at the most. Joanne Conway of Great Britain.
Dolly, Jerry's girl. This costume all fits together. It's the quintessential showgirl number. Fantastic. You continue to see her right there in that position. Isn't that wonderful?
Some think that whoever leads between the two after tonight probably will win. This counts only for 20% of the mark. The school figures were 30%. The final on Saturday will be 50%.
There's a wild card. It will be right here. This two-jump combination. First a triple toe. Double loop. Very nice and very clean.
She looks pretty relaxed now. Now she can really put on a show for this audience. next move. These are the footwork. Really nice tap dancing.
There it is.
Well,
she's one of the few skaters, by the way, that can end a program with her footwork, a step sequence. And you know, Jim, I just saw her skate this same program in Prague. Tonight did not have the same excitement to it. It was neat, it was clean, it was very well done. It was not a standing ovation. Look at this double jump combination. Now, first it was a triple toe right here. That's the toe pick, and good height, good nice position in the legs, right down and up and over again and around. Very nice, and she was extremely pleased with it. And there's
a coach.
Yeah. The important thing here in this program is not to make a major error. That causes a mandatory reduction in marks. If you skate cleanly and you skate it through, that's really the name of the game in this.
There's Debbie Thomas backstage. The tension building in her, you can be sure. Like the moment to come when you can come out and channel it all into your performance. Jutta Müller, remember, has been with this young woman for 11 years, and she was 11 years old. We went into that quite a bit on yesterday's show during our school figures coverage. I would say the coach was happy with the student.
You know, Jim, I wish you could sort of pan down. Her knee has a brace on it. She must have been having some trouble with that knee.
5.7s and 5.8s, 1.56 from Great Britain, but that certainly leaves room on top. There's the brace on her left knee.
Interestingly enough, those marks are not brilliant.
No.
I think that's because the judges recognize that while she has enormous charm, enormous jumping ability, and a great competitiveness, her style and her positions really are not that first rate. But for presentation and charm, well, it's a solid straight 5.9.
5.9s except for a 5.8 from the American judge. Peggy Fleming's down there. Peggy?
5.9. Katerina, were you happy with those marks?
Oh, I'm very happy with my program, that I did all the jumps, and I think the artistic impression was good, and I'm very happy about this.
Did you feel the pressure being the defending Olympic champion tonight?
It was a lot of pressure on my shoulder, but I think it was good for me.
Well, you're a beautiful girl. Good luck on the long program.
Yeah.
Katarina Witt. Well, you don't dethrone the champ with a draw, so Debbie will have to do some skating to stay ahead of her. Here now is the leader. Let's not forget the leader, Kira Ivanova of the Soviet Union. Leader after the school figures.
Jump combination right here. She has just simply not been technically reliable through all the competitive events that we've seen her in.
Last year, 5th in the World Championship. This year, 2nd in the European. Katarina.
Again, a rather uneven landing.
Like Scotty Hamilton, she was a very sickly child and was instructed by the doctors to take up skating as a form of therapy. Same story.
See, how high she is on that toe. That's why that's not a good spin. Look where she is up there. See, that spin is rocking all over the place.
I think this program was really lacking in good choreography and music. I think that whole feeling was really missing here.
Kira Ivanova trying to retain her lead. We'll find out in a minute whether she does or not. Probably not. For 25-year-old Kira Ivanova of the Soviet Union, the first set of marks coming up here, the crowd encouraging her. They've been very, very friendly to all the competitors from all the countries. There you see it, 4.9 from the Swiss judge, 4.7 from the Canadian judge, and highest mark of 5.3 from the Soviet Union. Now, waiting to be announced, Debbie Thomas.
Like all the skaters, she snuck out onto the ice. She snuck out onto the ice to get the feel of it. It's almost impossible to stand off the ice at this point.
Well, this morning she didn't like the way the ice felt, and that's what she was upset about when she slammed her hand on the sideboard and said, "I don't care." And she stomped off from her coach. But this is the moment that counts. Second set of marks, much better for a presentation, 5.3 to 5.7. And now, Debbie Thomas. Not a pre-med student this year. She's taken a year off from it for this moment and for Saturday night because she does not have plans for anything in the long run except medical career.
Representing the United States, les États-Unis.
Hit him hard, said Alex. Give me not 5, but 10.
Remember, she's a risk taker, and she has the potential to seize the day.
Well, this music is very powerful, very strong, very hard driving.
This is her two-jump combination. Oh. Spectacular. Look at the position in that camel. That's good.
Debbie looks so calm out there. It's amazing. Nice footwork. Right to the beat.
She may have left all the tension of practice this morning.
Double flip.
Debbie Thomas, she liked it. So did they. Great shot. Here's her mom. What a moment. And the bigger one yet to come Saturday. Okay, Alex. You got her ready.
You know that these jumps, these moves become so difficult. They're moves they can do in their sleep. But when they have to do them in this kind of a setting, they just become nerve-wracking.
Now, if you've never watched this short program before, you'll understand the tension of it.
Oh, look at the height on that. Look at the height on that. And, you know, the difficulty of that was much greater than the two-jump combination that Katarina Witt did. Good height on that second jump.
Here they come.
Oh, and technical merit.
Yeah. 157 from Great Britain, another from Canada, 5'8 from Soviet Union, Czechoslovakia, Japan, East Germany, 5'9 from the U.S. and Switzerland. Going to be very close, I think. See what the marks for presentation are.
Ah, but these marks, you see, are not. These marks are considerably lower.
Wow.
Considerably lower.
5'6 to 5'8. But Debbie has taken the lead. She's still in the lead. Let's go down to you, Peggy.
Debbie, it's been this short program in the past that has given both you and Katarina trouble. Tonight, you're an even match. What can we look forward in the long program on Saturday?
I think it's going to be a real battle. So you can stand up the most. I hope we both skate well. I think my program.
How do you feel about the marks?
Peggy?
You know, I skated a good program, and of course I hope to have higher. But
from the United States.
I've been told you just took the lead.
Yeah, as long as I was first or second, I knew I would take the lead. So I'm just doing it like Brian Boitano, I guess, as well.
Good luck Saturday night.
Thank you.
Okay, so Alex, not pleased at all with the second set of marks, but Debbie Thomas has taken the lead. Now there are two more Americans to skate, either of whom is a potential medalist here. And here is one, Karen Kadavi. 7th after the compulsory figures, but she could move up dramatically tonight and Saturday.
Is her two-jump combination? Oh, nice, nice. She has a radiance and subtlety on the ice that is superb.
This past year, Tyler Cranston has been choreographing her numbers, both the short and the long program.
Wasn't that
Karen
sweet?
Kadavi.
Wasn't that nice? She is so lovely. You know, she really has a vulnerability about her skating that makes your heart warm to her.
It fits her personality, a very appealing and vulnerable person. We'll be back for her marks. The first set of marks, very good for Karen Kadavi, from 5'6 to 5'8, a 5'8 from the American judge, 5'7 from the Soviet judge there. That's the required elements now, presentation. And Carlo Fassi doesn't like her mark for presentation. 5'6 to 5'9 from the East German judge. Let's go down to Peggy.
Karen, that was a lovely performance. Did you watch Debbie and Katarina tonight?
No, I didn't. I didn't watch anybody. I just was trying to concentrate on myself and go out and do it.
Well, did you have trouble handling the nerves this evening? Not too bad. It felt very comfortable out there. I just had a great time. Well, good luck in the long program. Back to you, Jim.
All right, well, that moves Karen into 4th place among those who have skated in the overall standings. Now, we should point out in regard to Debbie and Katarina that Katarina is in the lead on tonight's short program, that Debbie has a lead overall. Could the fact that the judges marked Katarina higher in this program tonight be a shadow of Saturday night? Well, it's going to be so close. Claudia Leisner of West Germany, 6th after the compulsory figures.
She's always been a very good competitor. She can always pull off these elements when she absolutely has to in competition. She hasn't been very strong in the audience appeal.
Oh, boy.
Dear.
That proves the exception to the rules. That's the worst kind of fall you can take in a camel spin, too. It's a real knocker.
But it's such a surprise.
Kind of interesting that the East German GDR judge placed Debbie Thomas behind Karen. It gets pretty complicated out there.
This is a really good step sequence. Look how fast her feet are moving. Andre Nepola, her coach, has tried to work on her presentation more this year. I think she's improved a little bit.
Claudia Leisner of West Germany. 2 skaters remain, both with chances for medals. There's Jill Trenary of the United States and Elizabeth Manley of Canada. As an official, and Karen Kadavy of the United States is 4th among those who have skated. But here comes Elizabeth Manley of Canada, their national champion, and she was 4th after yesterday's compulsory figures.
She has a real bubbly, charismatic style. Very enjoyable to watch.
Look at the arms. Her 2-jump combination coming up. A triple Salchow double loop. Well, I tell you, that
I think sometimes when you get nervous, that's how you spin up on the toe like that and you lose a lot of speed.
to a lot of personal problems, gained a lot of weight. Looked like her career might be over. She's back now. Elizabeth Manley.
Oh, how terrific. How terrific. She has had such trouble in the past.
Yeah.
So many performances that she has blown. How wonderful that at this moment, the most important of her career, that she does it this superbly. Oh, that's delightful. That's terrific. She is a dynamo when she wants to be.
Great moment for the Maple Leaf again, for Canada, the home team. And you can't be any more than on the spot than before your hometown fans. We'll be back. Back to watch her marks.
And there she is with Peter and Sonia Dunfield, her coaches. They have worked long and hard with her.
She had a lot of flowers to pick up. Jill Trenery waiting. And those two could be battling it out for a bronze medal here, along with Karen Kadavi. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say how difficult for Jill Trenery now to come up knowing that both Vitt, Thomas, and Manley have skated brilliantly. You know, with everything perfect.
All 5.7s and 5.8s on the required elements.
5.8, 5.7, 5.7, 5.8.
Presentation will be coming up. And Jill has to listen to the cheers and wait and loosen up. And now Manley has moved into third place among those who have skated with these marks, ahead of Ivanova. Karen Kadavi dropping to fifth. One more skater to go. Peggy?
Elizabeth, your performance was so powerful and just so charismatic with the audience. What did you work on this year that made it improve so much?
I wanted to work on having fun, enjoying my performance, and not putting so much pressure on myself. Sometimes I feel in the past I've gone out thinking, I've got to do it, I got to do it. Tonight I wanted to come out, and it's a Canadian crowd, and I just wanted to have fun, and I think that's exactly what I did.
Well, I think they had fun watching you. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
All right, Peggy, here's Jill Trenery. 19 years old, born in LaGrange, Illinois, been in Colorado Springs for a long time now. Fifth after the compulsories.
Here again is the wild card, the two-jump combination. Well, she did it.
It's a little shaky, but she did it. But it was a more difficult combination, the triple flip, double loop, then a triple toe, double loop. But the quality of how they executed them is what really counts.
There's that wiggle that we saw in Colorado, huh? Joan Conway.
All of Jill's choreography was done by Sandra Bezic, the same woman that choreographed Brian Boitano's program that was so successful.
Jill Trenery.
Isn't that cute?
We've seen excellent, gutty performances from all of the leaders here tonight.
Wasn't that powerful group?
There's your mother. And there's Dad Bob Trenery, who says, I'd really prefer that she were home, to tell you the truth. Oh, yeah? Tonight? We had him isolated, by the way, during the competition. Maybe we need expert analysis on this, Dick. Is that a good move?
This is a football coach giving it there, going at it, right?
I give it a 5-9.
Listen, why not? And why shouldn't he be a proud papa?
But he doesn't really care, don't you understand?
Yes. That too, Santa Claus.
That's right. Well, now comes the important thing. She's the last skater of the evening here. Remember now, on the overall marks, Thomas is first, Vitt second, Manley third, Ivanova fourth, and Kadevi of the United States fifth. Vitt got the higher marks on tonight's performance. On what you saw tonight, Vitt got the highest marks. But overall, including the school figures yesterday, Debbie Thomas is the leader. Well, we got a 5-4 there from Great Britain. Everything else 5-6s and 5-7s to 5-5 from the USA.
5.7, 5.6, 5.6, 5.6.
You see, I think probably what they saw was a certain slight off balance that occurred during 2 and 3 of the jumps. It was very hard to see and really did not, and it's making Carlo madder than the devil. Madder than the devil.
Presentation, well, look at these 5-9s, a couple of 5-7s, another 5-9, 5-8, 5-7, and 5-8. And she is now in 5th place. Karen Kadevi is 6th. Down to you, Peggy.
Jill, what did you think of those marks?
Well, I went with a harder combination, hoping to get, higher technical marks, at the risk for myself. But I was really nervous going out there, and I'm happy. I had a lot of doubts going out there before, and I tried. I pulled it off, so I'm pretty happy.
Did you watch any of the other competitors before you went out?
I watched a couple combinations just so if someone made a mistake, I could see what they did wrong and try to figure out, how not to do that. But I basically kept to myself and put my Walkman on.
Well, good luck on Saturday night. Back to you, Jim.
All right, Peggy, the standings then, where the medal's going to be awarded tonight. Here's the way it would be. Debbie Thomas of the United States, Katarina Witt of East Germany, or GDR, Elizabeth Manley of Canada would get the bronze. Then even over the Soviet Union, Trenery of the USA.
On a recovery stroke with her left foot, she caught it on the ice. Shouldn't cause her too much problems. Right now it's important that she concentrates and gets that out of her mind as quickly as possible.
She needs to stay relaxed, be strong, and skate smart. She knows the time to beat everyone out ahead of her, the field that she has to try to overhaul.
And it's so important that right now she consciously thinks that I've got to back off just a little bit and continue to carry the speed that I've gained over opening up hard over the first 300 meters. The next lap, you start working those turns, and with 400 meters to go, then you give it your all.
She is even with Van Gennep at this particular stage of the race, but still a long ways to go, and it'll really prove the last lap to be the one that can make or break her.
Looking very good. She, again, has a little bit of problem with that arm hanging on her back. It's so important that you let that thing just hang there.
Look at that, though. That's the best time at 700 meters.
Good 700-meter time. Now she's got to really start working those turns. Focus down the track like you should be, swinging that arm up in front of her. Looking well right now. Looking very well.
She skated 2 good, hard races. Can she go this distance? Can she do it? Can she win her 3rd medal in this Winter Olympics?
And now comes the big question. Not having a pair, she's really going to have to dig inside herself to finish strong in this race. And this is where she could win or lose this race, this last 400 meters.
All right, the last lap. There's Mary Blair Polanski again, her sister, who you saw earlier on tape. And now live, she's now 1 3/10 slow. There's Mike Crow, the USA coach.
You can see Bonnie coming up a little bit from earlier, starting to push back with her skates. It's so important that when you're tired, you continue to push to the side, having a little bit of problems with his turn.
Here she comes, the final turn. The time to beat. You see it up above. That's Van Gennep's time. She's going to have to hurry. She's not going to get that. In fact, she is going to finish 2:02.
Keep going. They have to learn to control the reactions, because usually it's not the fall, but the reaction that's fatal.
I think the most common thing that came to my mind was, don't do it again. And that's the worst thing you can think about. You have to push it. You have to push it out of your mind that you've made a mistake.
Which is hard. When you have 3 triples coming up and you've fallen once already, and this is the Olympics, and
Just thinking about it makes me, my stomach just tightens.
To help him get back on the ice, Charlie Tickner turned to self-hypnosis. After that, he won his first of 4 national titles the following year. Now, frequently determined by their mindset going in. In the 1972 Olympics, Janet Lynn was our gold medal hopeful, and she was skating beautifully until. But to everyone's amazement, she got up smiling, and because she didn't let it disrupt her, she was able to win the free skating portion of the competition. But a year later at the World Championships, her first double axel. And 30 seconds later, another double axel. And another fall. Stemmed from a deep personal belief. A very religious person, she felt God had given her talent, and she wanted to show his love while skating.
I had to go onto the ice and beat someone. Then I started being afraid of falling.
Which is exactly what happened in 1973. In 1982, Elaine Zayak entered the national championships in Indianapolis as the champion. In the space of 4 minutes, she fell 3 times. She was still reliving these falls a month later at the World Championships. Up in her hotel room, just hours before her performance, a hysterical Elaine told her coaches, "I'm not going to skate." Why? In desperation, they brought an old and trusted friend up to her room. He sat on her bed and told her a story.
"Tonight you will do your best. It may not be enough, but you will not embarrass yourself," he said. "You have."
Well, she's not a flashy skater, and she's not very consistent, but she is enjoyable to watch. She hits some beautiful moves. Her choreography is very well done. Choreographed by Sandra Bezic, the same choreographer that did Brian Boitano's program so successfully.
Well, I'll tell you, this is the 4th problem that she's had in this program. She blew out of one jump combination. She missed the second one, eliminated the third, and then fell. And
that's only in the first 2 minutes.
Injury could be bothering her. She looks almost heavy-legged out there.
The injury was to the back of her leg. That was very pleasant.
Interesting to look forward that the final group now will contain only 5 skaters, with the scratch of Karen Kaveli. Katarina Witt will skate early. Debbie Thomas will skate last.
She has a delicate, very cool beauty to her skating.
overshadowed by Katarina Witt since 1985. She has been second to Katarina all those years. Maybe she's the next Katarina Witt out of East Germany.
You're right, Dick. A remarkable number of falls. From here on, though, nothing but outstanding free skaters. Midori Ito will be next from Japan. Then all the leaders.
I think her program was filled with wonderful choreography. She just really lacks that command of the audience and really the command of herself out here, the confidence.
Solid.
Jim, this program is a triumph of athleticism.
5 feet tall, 98 pounds. Full of talent.
If sport and art are going to do battle in figure skating, in this program, athletics will win.
I think she has such a wonderful charisma with this audience. She looks like, you know, she's just loving every moment out here.
That movement to eliminate school figures from international competition should succeed, and some think it might. She would leap upward in the standings because the school figures are what have her down in 8th place overall. She was actually 4th in the short program.
Jim, you simply must recognize this is an athletic program. The first thing judged is force. And look at that move. That was a flying sit spin, not seen in this competition by anybody else.
She hasn't missed anything in this program. She's skated so well. She's excited.
And look at the spin. And listen to this.
Standing up already.
Listen to this. Oh. Oh.
Jill is a very complete skater. She finishes off every move she does. The hand positions and leg. Very nice. And something to watch for in the jumps that she does. She keeps her toes in a pointed position and very much together. Very pretty jumper.
Now that was intended to be a triple jump. She elected to do a double, but the lack of content, I think, might hurt her.
I love this combination, the 1-foot axel into a triple sow cow. Oh, but she does that so well.
Another jump that had planned to be a triple. She's playing it very conservatively.
Section.
She is truly elegant.
She really is. Her choreography was also done by Sandra Bezic. Sandra's a Canadian.
Will Quenery.
You know, Jim.
Just ahead of Midori Ito, but here comes the champ. Katarina defending her title.
But not since so many, and I think the comment we're going to see is a flirtatious one. This is the posing section. Time seems to fall when the poses occur. Does this program have the content that you expect every program? Absolutely. Well, it's done in a different way. I mean, she has the same content, but right in here, a minute and 16 seconds will go by where she hasn't done any difficult jumps or any difficult spins. So it's giving her a second win. She really gets the chance to really act out and draw that audience in. Now, that was usually her triple jump. She elected to do a double. It's that jump that she's had problems with. That will not detract from her mark. Alberto Tumba, the admirer, Katarina Vick. Remember, he said this afternoon that the lady second gold medal. If Katarina does not win tonight, I'll give her one of my gold medals. She said is a beautiful, beautiful lady, isn't she? Gorgeous. If one is talking about technical jumps in this competition, I think one has to note that she did 4 triple jumps, not the usual number that I think she is capable of. Look at this combination. First, the triple toe. Look at the height on it. That is exquisite. And then a double toe. That is exquisite. I frankly don't know how much impression the judges will give to the actual mark of technique and difficult technicality in this program. I think they'll go more for what we're seeing right now. All right, now the technical mark will be the first mark we'll see. As you can ruler again, extremely attentive to her skater all the time. Indeed, they deal like a mother. Look at those marks, Jim. Indeed, they did reflect that. Yeah, her technique was down. 9.658. That shows the technical, the triple jump mania that we have here. But I think you'll see a room over there. There's plenty of room for technical merit over there. Yes, here. Now, I think those 2 marks there, 5/8, will show you the only 2 judges. Because I see 5 first places for Manley, but she's still in second place. She has 6, I believe, and 2 for Vic. That's for free skating tonight. I see where my marker is not quite clear on that. But there's an awful lot of first places in Manley's card at this point. That's what he said. Even over, by the way, dropped all the way down to 6. So this is it. It's time to compare comments. She double put in the second triple toe. This was the first move right here. The triple toe loop right there. She landed it, went up into the second one. And by the way, that's an extremely difficult combination. 2 triple jumps. The days of driving 150 miles to drive every practice. Did you hear that? Well, back to school, she said. This is going to be very tight. It could be.
Side jumps were originally choreographed as double axels, not done in this program. This flip over, lift, and watch again the dismount that we saw at the national championships. This move crucial. The fact that she touched down on that, I think, with the previous mistakes, will probably keep them from getting the technical merit marks that will seriously threaten Watson and Oppegaard. I could be wrong, though.
Very nicely choreographed number. A lot of things right to the music. Nice unison.
See, that slipped. Oh, that does it for them. What a shame.
On something so simple, too.
Absolutely. Oh, that will certainly keep them from moving up ahead over Watson and Oppegaard, I think.
They gave it their best shot. Not good enough tonight. Gillian Waxman and Todd Wagoner of the United States.
You know, it's interesting that all of the pairs here have really taken it very, very carefully. The only pair that kind of went all out was Gordieva and Grinkov. Everybody else has been extremely conservative. I guess it's Olympic-itis. Look at this move right here, this back inside edge that she's taking as he throws her into the air in a triple salto. And boom. That's, again, the lack of support in the upper part of the body. They all have trouble with it. And in this move right here, on this very simple and very beautiful thing, he caught an edge. He caught an edge. That's one of the few times I can say that it's purely a matter of the ice. That was a case where it was bad ice. Normally bad ice, everybody thinks happens when you fall down in a triple jump. Not this case.
There's Jill Watson backstage, and it is certain they have won a medal. The first medal for the United States in these Olympic Games is going to go to Jill Watson and Peter Oppegaard, and they went out and earned it. They skated extremely well tonight. Not official yet, but it is certain that will be the case. Gordieva and Grinkov will finish first, Valova and Vasiliev second.
You know, the interesting thing is that Seleznyeva and Makarov of the Soviet Union are in fourth place at this point. Yes. They pulled up quite a distance. That was a substantial pull-up.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, too, whether Watchman and Wagner can stay ahead of that pair you just mentioned.
There they are with their coach, Pauline Daw.
Technical merit first.
Again, Jim, just as a means of finishing off the symmetry of the evening, once again, I suppose it's necessary to repeat that the throw jumps were the wild card in this championship.
Right.
Wagner for technical merit, 5.5, 5.4,
well,
5.5.
Good marks, 5.3 to 5.5 for technical merit.
5.6.
For this pair that has performed in this championship better than they ever have in their lives, if they could hold on to fourth place, it would be tremendous. We're going to have to ask Jill and Peter. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Very nice indeed. Medal at the Olympics. Keep for a lifetime. Artistic impression now. 5.4 to 5.7 from the Czech judge. Let's see what that's going to do. They dropped to fifth place. David, down to you.
Todd, those marks probably are not going to be enough to pull you into third place. What happened on the spread eagles at the end?
I think I hit a hole or a sequin or something out there because my footing was fine and all of a sudden my foot was gone. But you never know, you know. It's just something that happens.
Was stamina a factor at all?
Not like as far as cardiovascular. My legs felt a little tired. A little excitement. I've never in the Olympics, you know.
You're now in fifth place.
Are we? Who's in fourth?
Seleznyeva and Makarov.
Okay. Shoot.
You performed very well, though.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Gillian Watchman and Todd Wagner were the most successful Olympics, still finishing in fifth place behind the best in the world. We'll be back in a minute after these messages.
Performance, first a double axel. Very, very sharp military program. It looks almost new age. Fast speed, look at this. Now that fall, that miss will take him out of the running. His marks will be lower. He will therefore not get a placement or ordinal of first place. He will probably have a placement or ordinal of third place.
As you watch the marks here, remember about the ordinals. What counts is where each judge places a skater in comparison to the other skaters. One judge might mark them just from like 5.0 to 5.5. Another might mark them from 5.7 to 5.9. It's where each skater is in relation to the other, in the opinion of each judge. Alexander Faddeev.
Well, certainly a very fast program and some good work in it, but that miss in the two-jump combination is going to be, I think, his downfall for any hope at a gold medal.
And so it moves towards that confrontation again. The two Brians, one Brian to go. Night gathered for the performances of the men in the short program. There's little Katya, Katerina Gordieva, who truly dazzled the world the other night in the pairs championships. There are the first set of marks from 5-0 from Japan to a 5-5 from the Soviet Union for Alexander Faddeev of the Soviet Union.
Remember, the required element mark calls for a mandatory mark down of anywhere from 0.4 to 0.7 for a miss in that double jump combination. I said earlier that was going to be the downfall of the skaters, the wild card in this event, and it looks like that's the case.
And yet, for presentation, extremely high marks, really, except 2 5-6s, but everything else there, 5-8s and 5-9s. Doesn't leave too much room on top in that area for Brian Boitano.
Right. It only needs 1/10 of a point, Jim, and there's 2/10 on almost all of those there, except for the 5-9s.
Young man from Poland, Gregor Filipowski, 21 years old. He was 12th 4 years ago at the Olympics in Sarajevo, but 5th in last year's World Championship. He's 7th after school figures, but he should be better here. He trains in the United States, not in Rochester, New York, but in Rochester, Minnesota, which he went to by mistake, but that's a story for another time.
Spunky skater, and we'll see his triple axel double loop combination, the first move in this program. Here it is. He completed it, but a lot of wide foot swinging in there. Not as good as it could have been, but still it was done.
Brian Boitano will be next. Filipowski here won a bronze at the 1985 European Championships. Says it's the greatest thrill of his career. He was the first Polish skater ever to win a medal.
Good spinning ability. Nice, fast. Yep.
You always like a man who can do a good spin, Dick.
Well, it's the hardest thing to do in this sport and takes an awful lot of energy.
Look at that.
And isn't he like it?
He's had his moment in the Olympics, and he's happy with his performance.
He reminds me of the urchin down the street.
We'll be back.